Hey guys, it's NCS Fan 001 here for another one of those Fallout cookbook recipe videos. It has been a while since I have made one of these. I've just been very busy with other stuff. Anyway, today's recipe is the Fire Belly. One sip of this will help soothe any cough. This recipe reminds me of a drink I had at the last plank up north off the coast of Maine. They called it Fire Belly, and boy does it live up to that name. It made me ready for a fight. This is an easy difficulty recipe with 30 minutes of prep, 30 minutes of cook. It serves one, and it pairs well with a cold. That's very fitting for this time of year and everything that's going on. It'll also give us +1 endurance for 1 hour. The ingredients is a little bit, there's a few more than some of the recipes in here, but it's okay. You're going to need half a cup of water, a cup of sugar, a cinnamon stick, a strip of orange peel, a strip of lime peel, 2 slices of freshly peeled ginger, a whole clove, which is a spice, a black tea bag, a cup of boiling water, a tablespoon of honey, 2 tablespoons of spice syrup, which is the first thing we're going to make, 3 tablespoons of whiskey, and a tablespoon of lemon juice. Alright guys, so I'm actually going to be making a slight variation on this recipe because I'm not a tea person. Those of you who know me, especially in real life, I don't really like to drink tea. So we're going to be using coffee instead. This is an espresso pod, the half caffeine type, so it might taste a little bit different that way, but I will like it better because I enjoy a hot toddy, though I've never made one with this many ingredients. So the first step is to combine all of these spiced syrup ingredients into a medium saucepan, and then we're going to put that over medium to high heat. So we're going to start out with the sugar here. That's 1 cup of sugar. Now we're going to need half a cup of water. Half a cup of water. Should be the last I'm going to need of this, but I'll leave it out for now. I also went ahead and put the stove on medium to high heat. So we're going to whisk the sugar in here. These are the ingredients for the spiced syrup, minus the lemon juice. I want to get that out of the fridge later. So mix all of that up together. Now we're going to throw in the lime peel, the orange peel, which I'm hoping I did these right because I've never added I've never added an actual slice of peel from a fruit to a recipe before, so I hope I did it right. I'm pretty sure I did the ginger right, but it doesn't specify like how big these slices and cuts are supposed to be, so hopefully I did them right. Cinnamon stick. And finally, 1 clove. Good thing I bought this whole giant container of them, not even really giant, for this one teeny tiny little clove. So now we're going to put that on the stove, and I'll be back in just a moment. So I'm not going to show too much of this because I've shown this exact step many times in previous recipes, especially with the sodas. But basically, we're going to wait until all the sugar's dissolved. It's pretty close to that point. Then we're going to bring this thing up to a full boil, and then once it's on a full boil, we will reduce the heat to low and let it simmer for 20 minutes. So like I said, not going to show too much of that because honestly, it's pretty self-explanatory, and I've shown it enough times in other videos that I don't really want to waste your guys' time on that. So I will be back in like 20 to 25 minutes. Alright guys, that's got a pretty interesting look and smell to it. So our next step is to strain this into an airtight container. Then we will let it cool, and then we would stick it in the fridge for up to 2 weeks. It doesn't say you actually have to refrigerate it before being able to drink it the first time, which is good because I didn't feel like doing that. So let's go ahead and strain this, but I will let it cool for a few minutes while I get everything else prepped. Let's hope we don't have a repeat of the Nuka-Cola incident. Yeah, it looks very much like a syrup, like a simple syrup almost, or just a syrup in general. This is definitely more than 1 serving though. You could definitely get probably like up to 4 servings. Well, maybe like 3 servings out of this, I would think. So it's definitely a little bit more than it says. So I'm going to let this cool for a few minutes, guys, get everything else set up, and then we'll be back for the actual tasting part. But at this point, you would want to go ahead and make sure that you make your tea or your coffee, which, I mean, it says tea. I'm just going to use coffee because I prefer coffee. So in a mug, you would brew the black tea bag with hot water. For coffee, you just make the coffee however you choose to make coffee. Alright guys, so I have made my cup of black coffee. So now we need to stir in the honey, the spiced syrup, the whiskey, and the lemon juice. I think that was maybe my washing machine. So we're going to need a tablespoon of honey. So we'll do the honey last. First we will do 2 tablespoons of the spiced syrup, which has come out quite nicely. And it's actually a lot easier to pour in this bowl. So, a tablespoon, that's dripping all over the place, that's great. And a second tablespoon. And I will save the rest of this most likely because I could see myself using this some more in the future because there's like 3 more servings worth in here, so that's really not bad at all. Like, I mean, it has a good smell to it. I tasted a little bit of it. It has a good taste. Let that cool off a little bit more. So with that in, our next one is 3 tablespoons of whiskey. So I've just got these little mini bottles of Jack Daniel's Tennessee whiskey. This is 40%. I usually drink 45% when I have whiskey, or more often I use bourbon for recipes like this. So we got 1 tablespoon whiskey, 2 tablespoon whiskey, 3 tablespoon whiskey with a little bit left over. Perfect. That might have been a little bit out of frame, so put that there. Now we're going to need a tablespoon of lemon juice. So when I've made hot toddies before, usually, well, at least I didn't go on the camera. Usually when I make them just with the lemon juice, the hot water, bourbon, and honey. Those are the only ingredients I put in mine. Maybe you guys make yours a little bit differently. And finally, we need a tablespoon of honey. Hopefully this doesn't go everywhere. I don't think it will. I like honey. I don't really like it just eating it alone, though. I don't really think it is all that good if you just eat it alone. I think it kind of needs to be mixed with something. So we're going to let that go in, and we're going to stir this until it is fully dissolved. So that should only take a few moments. Then I'm going to clean up a little bit, and then we are going to do our taste test. Alright guys, it is now time for the taste test. So like I said, I think that overall I'm going to like this. I mean, I like pretty much all the ingredients here together, so let's see how it is. That's pretty good. I'm trying to think of what the most dominant flavor of that is. It's definitely sweet. It's got a nice sweet taste to it. There I got some of the lemon, I definitely got some of the honey. I'll say that I can't really taste the spiced syrup that much. Unless it's just blending in with the honey. The honey is definitely more overpowering, I feel like, than the whole spiced syrup. So I think you can easily make one of these without any of the syrup, and you can make it a lot more quickly. And I would also make it with bourbon instead of whiskey, because I just prefer bourbon, but that's just me. And then I also don't really know why you would put tea or... Well, I know why you would put tea in it. Obviously, coffee doesn't make as much sense to put in it. I can understand why you put like an herbal tea or something, or even just black tea bag in it. That definitely makes sense. But overall, I definitely like this. However, in the future, when I make this kind of a drink, I will not make it with all these extra ingredients because, well, I don't really feel like there's much of a purpose of that for me because I don't feel like it enhances it all that much. I would stick with just the basic recipe for the hot toddy, not necessarily adding in the spiced syrup, but everything else, I mean, it's good. It tastes good, so there's no real complaints. Like I said, I don't really taste the syrup all that much. It definitely smells a little less strong than the ones I make. That might be because they're a smaller serving or something, and there's also, in those, there's not coffee or anything watering it down. So thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and see you for the next one.